Sonic Team has a problem. And that problem is they've been very insistent about the Sonic the Hedgehog timeline. They've seemingly been backpedaling after every criticism, no matter how valid or invalid it may be. For example, classic Sonic is from the past to he's actually from an alternate dimension / timeline, so I guess instead of going to decide the timeline, anyone can. Which means I can. So I am the arbiter of what is canon. Since no one else is the title of Keeper of Sonic lore, I claimed it for myself. So anyone else who wanted it, your days are numbered. So some ground rules. I'm determining the order in which games occur. Not every event in the franchise, so yes, while Adventure and Chronicles both have events that happened thousands of years before anything else, I won't be talking about that, just the main plot events, because otherwise this video will be hours long. Here's a sample of that potential video. 10,000 years ago, the Echidna tribes found the Chaos Emeralds and realized, whoa, it unlocks the hidden powers of chaos throughout the entire universe. Then they became super warmongering, divided over this, and like half of them were banished to the other side of the universe, and the other half just kind of went crazy and tried to harness the power of it, and then unleashed a chaos god and died out, except Knuckles. I will include the main games and the spin-offs, like the Rider series and Fighters, leading to about 59 games. Sorry if I missed a few, except not really, this video is long enough for me to edit. But what about the Archie comics and the old shows? Sorry, that isn't working. Sonic Underground is too weird to fit into any timeline, even one where it's on its own. I'll have it be one timeline, not two. This is because Sega keeps going back and forth whether classic Sonic is past Sonic or alternate dimension Sonic. I've seen arguments for both sides, but I'm going with one timeline because it makes more sense for reasons I'll get into later. And who is going to oppose this decision anyway? Some rando who isn't the Keeper of Sonic lore? I don't think so. So the first 10 games are maybe a little questionable to fools. So the first thing you probably noticed was the first game in the timeline is Sonic 3D Blast, which is odd, but during my research I noticed that these little birds you save every now and then are called flickies. According to Sonic 3D Blast lore, it's the first time they're encountered. These things are in the first Sonic game, so this comes first. Then it's pretty standard with 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles, but I put CD after this because Male Sonic is the most advanced robotic Sonic. Fight me, Mecha Sonic fans, with your wimpy robot, why don't you? Didn't even come close to conquering the world, and he had the Master Emerald powering him up. Now Sonic 4 is odd, because Dr. Eggman resurrects Metal Sonic from when he was left off in CD, and Metal Sonic appears in games soon after CD, so this has to happen now. The Sonic and Tails grow up and then de-age back to classic style again, and then Robotnik tries out his modern look and then goes back, so this is the first of many canon clues that conflict concerningly. Maybe the time shenanigans of CD can explain this? And yes, I did say first of many, but it goes here since the flaws can be written off as fashion choices. Then we have Sonic Chaos because it's similar to this era, and Triple Trouble because it's a sequel to Sonic Chaos. Then Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball and Dr. Robot-Egg's Mean Bean Machine. Then Sonic Drift happens because Amy comes from CD, which comes before this. And for the Tails Sky Patrol fans out there, it's between the two Drift games, because Tails had to get his rescue workers license for them to be allowed to go driving again, because of the risk they pose to themselves and others. Knuckles Chaotix, because Male Sonic. Yeah, he's been a bit of a saving grace in terms of chronology. Sonic Labyrinth, because, like the lore of Sonic, it's a labyrinth, and I don't know what else to do with it. Blast, because reasons, and then Mania, because I think all the other games and references are before this point. And it's one of the most important reasons as to why it's one timeline, but we'll get to that later. But then they all have a nice race, but on foot this time, because Tails forgot to get his license renewed. Then we have Sonic Fighters, because the races got pretty heated and everyone needed to let off some steam. Now we begin to reach the modern Sonic era, which started 24 years ago with Adventure. Then they hold the worst party in the history of Sonic, and then Shadow appears and Adventure 2 happens. By the way, Dark Story's canon before the final story. Then Advance 1 and 2 happen, and introduce Cream and Cheese, the destroyer of worlds, in time for Heroes and Pinball Party. But what's important is Heroes, the game that makes you feel every positive and negative emotion at once. And also my boy Male Sonic showing how he is superior to all other Sonic based robots. Then Shadow the Hedgehog gets a gun, which is pretty cool I guess, and about a billion different endings, but none of them matter except one, which makes my job easier. Sonic Battle comes after Shadow the Hedgehog, because he has his memories back in Sonic Battle. Then Sonic Advance 3 introduces Gemerald after Emerald from the events of Battle. Then we have Sonic Rush, one of my favourite Sonic games, which introduces Blaze the Cat. Then the 06 scene occurs and nearly ruins her. The backstory is completely different, so that's one inconsistency, and everyone else is ruined except U4, but at least it's all erased at the end of the game, so it never happened. But then it's in Sonic Generations because the Time Eater just resurrects that timeline, like it knows what happened, so it's simultaneously there in a timeline and not there at the same time, which brings me to the first part of the theory I constructed and therefore canon information. The Time Eater was created by the time shenanigans of 06. So it's technically Solaris for you 306 fans, because it's everything that was destroyed in that timeline. It even has the Mephiles purple. Can link's over for now. Anyway, Jet the Hawk is pretty cool, and then Blaze is back with pirates. Hell yeah! Sega, please bring back the Rush series or something like it. Anyway, time shenanigans again. Thanks Rivals for following up on 06 for making characters' backstories confusingly inconsistent. Sonic and the Secret Rings, and then Black Knight because... and they all went kart racing. Also, if you permit me a quick tangent, during my research of the timeline, I found out about the existence of something called the Sonic Cafe. This was not a physical cafe, but a mobile phone service in Japan, that ran from 2001 to 2007. It contains minigames such as Sonic Golf, Sonic Billiards, Sonic Fishing, and Sonic Bowling. I did not include this in the timeline because it's just what Sonic does on his weekend with his friends. Tangent over, I just wanted the world to know of this thing I discovered at 2 AM while researching this video. Mario and Sonic, the Olympic Games. So Mario's canon now, along with the events of Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, the greatest game ever made. That's a story for another day. Maybe I'll make a Mario timeline one day, if I care enough. There's no consistent lore in Mario, even in the RPGs. Now here's where things get tricky again. In the new Encyclopedia, Sonic Chronicles is said to be non-canon. But if Sonic Twitter has taught me anything, that everything is canon. So it'll be before Unleashed, because at the end of Chronicles, Sonic claims the Chaos Emeralds and comes back to Mobius, /Earth, /whatever Sega decides this week. Oh wait, I decide that now. Anyway, Dr. Eggman has a massive armada at the end of the game, which is why Sonic destroys it with the Chaos Emeralds at the beginning of Unleashed. Anyway, they go to the Olympic Games again, this time in winter, and the plot happens. Then I wasn't sure where to put Zero Gravity because it's the future, but then I remembered I could put where I want. Also, it could be explained as just an aesthetic change like Sonic 4. And then they go back to normal and free riders in time for Eggnick to create an amazing amusement park, but then Sonic destroys it before the health and safety inspector can arrive. And now we have the Time Eater again, which when it is destroyed creates a new time anomaly, because you can't just destroy that stuff without consequences. And the name of that anomaly is Phantom Ruby. They even have similar powers. Anyway, we'll get back to that later. What's more important is that they went back to the Olympics again, and then raced again after kicking out Mario and his friends for overstaying their welcome. But don't worry, Mario comes back with even more of his friends for the Olympics again. So then Sonic, Tails and Robotman left to find more friends, but instead found the Zeddy. And then boom happened. Now you may be wondering, including that in the timeline is impossible. But you're wrong. See, they all went on vacation to some tropical islands and consumed substances they shouldn't have. Except Dr. Eggot, he was stone cold sober the entire time, doing push-ups and working out. Anyway, they go back to the Olympics again after some time has passed from that uncomfortable experience. Then they go race again, then go back to the Olympics, because apparently those are the only Sonic side games Sega makes anymore. And then we're back to the interesting bit, Sonic Forces. And what's that I said about the Phantom Ruby earlier? Sonic Mania being important for the single timeline? Well, here it is. Once again, time shenanigans, but with a twist. The Phantom Ruby at the end of Forces is not destroyed, but in fact goes back to the beginning of Mania. And from the end of the Encore DLC or main game, either works, Phantom Ruby goes back to the beginning of Forces, caught in an endless cycle forever. John C is a great way of clearing up all the consequences of previous time shenanigans for good. Also, Silver is back. Wait a minute, how did you get here? Horrifying implications about my future work aside, Frontier should come after this. Why, you may ask? It seems so unclear when it's happening. It's simple. Amy is dead. Thank you for brushing up on Sonic lore. Like and subscribe or whatever. Sega, you're welcome. I've solved one of your biggest problems.